Welcome to the show. I'm Mike Wilshire, your host of Who's Happening's podcast, and tonight is titled DJ and the Bouncer. I got with me John Carter, our bouncer extraordinaire, right?
I try to be.
Right. So tonight we have questions from fans, as well as we've got the hilarity of stories that we get to tell. Which, how long have you been here now? 3 weeks?
About a month. Yeah.
About a month. Okay.
Yeah.
And to start it off, I want to explain to everyone that before we get into this, what we're about to tell you is not alcohol-related incidents. We don't have, and I'm not even going to knock on wood because staff is good. You know, staff is watching. Everyone, we want you to come in and have a good time.
Obviously.
Yeah.
Obviously.
You greet everyone with a smile at that door, and we want you to know it's going to be fun, and we want you to have a good time. However, the downside to it is that if you get too inebriated, you get too drunk, if you get to be a problem, you have to leave. And we haven't had that happen yet. You know, we've been very, very fortunate. I think that's a wonderful thing. However, we have had non-alcohol related incidents that have occurred. And I mean, we're talking about stuff. Your first night, fresh out the gate, it couldn't have been 9 o'clock.
Couldn't, no.
And a shirt comes off.
Yeah.
And we're like, what are we doing, midget wrestling now?
Exactly, yeah. No, that's the thing is, I will say, just a correction real quick, I have walked people out. However, there's never been any liquor-related conflict between individuals. I've caught it before anything happened.
We don't.
But yeah, before 9:30 that night, first night, I'm aware of everything that happens, and I constantly kept looking at this old geezer. Like, I mean, he wasn't too old, but he was old enough to be weird.
Let's back up. It was right by where you stand.
Yeah.
It's at the dart machine.
Yeah.
And it's aggressive staring.
Yes.
I think the kids called it mad dogging back in the day, right? I mean, like he's staring at me.
Yeah, but he was supposedly he was trying to be flirty, but again, this guy is definitely like, he was over 40, 50, and these girls were young, and they were out with their dad playing darts.
Oh, of course.
Yeah, and I'm sitting there, and again, I'm keeping my eye on everyone, but he in particular, I thought at first he was looking at me, to be honest. And I thought I looked pretty good that night. I just wasn't my type, so.
I catch myself doing that late at night when it's just you and me here, you know, and everybody's leaving out the door. Just kidding, folks.
But he kept staring, and they started yapping. And
but how you approached it, put your shirt back on. Put your shirt back on.
Yeah.
And then it was so early on, and nobody was drunk. Nobody's been drinking. It's not that kind of a situation. So it was, you go that way, you go that way. It was like you handled it like a principal at school.
That's how I do it.
And I mean, it pretty much was.
Yeah. I mean, I was a camp counselor.
Right.
What I learned is to teach 6-year-olds like adults and adults like 6-year-olds. I mean, it helps.
Okay, and we have a new rule. We have a new rule because of stupidity.
Mm-hmm. And
that new rule is, and I want to point out that you're a very nice person. And you're
Some
nice.
Would argue that. Some would
You're
argue
nice
that.
until you. Well, you've always been nice to us, and you're nice until you don't have to be, I assume.
Yeah.
I mean, we haven't had that moment. We're not going to have that moment.
No.
But, however, we had a situation where some individuals decided to jump the fence to come in through the back. Now, I want to point out to everyone, okay, we have a back fence. It is locked. We have a vendor out there cooking in a truck. He has our phone numbers. He texts us. He is a friend. We have, at any given time, one of the members of the staff is out there on that back porch.
Mm-hmm.
Don't even try it. Don't do it. At the very least, you're trespassing. And at this particular time, I think you came into it nice. The decision was made. All right, maybe you guys didn't know, whatever. You're going to go around the front. You're going to pay to get in.
Mm-hmm.
And we're going to let you have a good time.
Mm-hmm.
And that's pretty much all. I don't think that will happen again in light of the fact that without purchasing alcohol, without doing anything, and within minutes of their arrival, one of the Three Stooges did damage to something in the parking lot.
Yeah.
And so this is not an alcohol-related incident, so we can call the police on you.
Mm-hmm.
We have no problems with dialing 911 and have the sheriff come when it's especially not anything that we're involved in.
No.
And they'll come and take a report. Now, this is one of those incidents where Huey and Dewey talked themselves into the back of the patrol car.
Well, it turns out they had a lot bigger problems
Well,
than what they caused here.
One had a warrant, and the other one, he had problem. And I mean, so again, if you have a warrant and you go to a bar and you cause a chaositism,
Yeah. Just be smart. Because that's the thing is also that we follow the letter of the law, but we can also push to hold you to the law when we want. And that's my thing as anytime I've worked security in my past, and especially here is...
you're a bouncer. Just so I know you're trying to say security, but you're a bouncer because you will have to bounce somebody out of here eventually for being dumb, and it's not going to be anything other than being dumb.
Mm-hmm.
I am 50 years old. I have been so drunk in my lifetime when I was younger, and I have only been kicked out of one bar in my entire
100%.
30 years of drinking. And that one time was a misunderstanding. It truly was a misunderstanding. It was not, I was not violent. I wasn't fighting with anyone. It was just, wrong place, wrong time.
Yeah.
So we're going to have an eventual night where we're going to have somebody who does something stupid and you have to take care of it. But we wanted to get out in front of it with this broadcast and point out that he's 6'6" and sober.
Okay, don't give you too much. It's not my highest.
But
I'm
it's
also
not. But
230. I played semi-pro rugby,
you
and
play
so
semi-pro rugby.
What it really is, though, is my eyes, to be honest. And that's what you're saying is we have to be proactive.
Yes.
And that's the goal.
Head on the swivel.
We never want to get to the point of conflict because, from the wise words of Letterkenny, those who have been in a fight aren't so keen to get into another one.
Right.
And if we get to that point, then we're too far. And so it's all about being proactive. And to be honest, another word to the wise is I know who you are coming in the door.
Right.
I might not know your name. I might have never seen you before, but I can read you. Also, I'm not checking you out. I'm seeing if you have any weapons on you. I look people up and down. Sometimes I think they give me a weird eye.
Smell.
I'm too big. Yeah.
You smell people.
Yeah, totally.
We have
as soon as they walk
sniff.
past, I just. No.
Yeah.
But I'm searching for weapons. I'm searching for things, and those aren't allowed here. But also, again, like you're saying, it's dumb people.
Right.
You know, they say drunk words are sober thoughts.
Right.
And the thing is, you could be absolutely off your rocker, but yet you're not going to do anything stupid.
Right.
And my job is to prevent the genuinely stupid people from causing problems with the normal people. However, I will say the problems I run into the most, because I am so proactive, I've never had anyone pull a weapon. I've never had anyone even try to make contact with me. If they do puff their chests up, I can de-escalate very quick. And that's what I love about rugby is I have faced ex-D1 linemen that are 300 pounds who have gotten in my face, and we both get in each other's face. But
no neck. The ones with no neck.
Yeah,
the
exactly.
XD
It's just shoulders
XD1
to
linemen,
ears.
no
they
neck.
can't
it's just,
turn right or left. They're
the
just
juggernaut
right here. Yeah.
standing there looking at you.
But the thing is, we see each other man to man, and we realize like neither of us want this.
Sure.
And we're going to keep playing the game. And you learn how to just speak to one another. And it's not bowing down, one has to bow. It's just the fact of like, do what you're doing, I'm going to do what I'm doing, and we go on.
And we get paid the same, whether we diffuse anything or whether we have to deal.
Because that's the funny is, even if, like, there are people who have headhunted, never me, but we have headhunters, people who think they can come in and they think it's pride to like take on a security guard.
Right. So they can take the job, or they can their company.
They can say I run that place, you know, and it's like we still have the cops. You know, that's the issue. We still have the cops. It doesn't matter. You don't win. There's not a win-win. Yeah. The win is if you just calm down and everyone just settles in, and that's why I say I don't have issues truly with the people, the troublemakers.
Right.
Because again, either they cause trouble, and we just quickly diffuse it and get it done with and get them out, or we settle down.
Right.
Everyone just don't like. It's kind of one of those things like you're saying about being a teacher, or like we know about our drill sergeants.
Yeah.
You don't want them to know your name.
No.
Do not let me know who you are, because as soon as I know who you are, I'm watching you every single time.
And I would like to point out too, something for me that happened to me whenever I was a doorman and working security and bouncing. So you started off where I was at, you were the doorman, you just checked IDs.
Yeah.
And they would come out on a random night and they would say, we are doing 100% ID check. If you don't have an ID, you're not coming in this bar.
I mean, that's how we are.
And yeah, and
We've
so
gotten to that point.
we've had to, at times, because the crowd's getting younger. Now that we've gone to non-smoking, the crowd is much younger. They look super young to me.
Super young. And our 30-year-olds. Shout out to all you 30-year-olds. Y'all come in. I check y'all more than sometimes I check these 20-year-olds who try to fake ID.
You know, and as the door guy, the other part of it is to assess, you know, how drunk are they when they're coming in.
Of course.
Because a lot of people come from Old Town. They come here, they pay the cover to get in, they drink a few sodas, a water, maybe a beer, and then they really don't drink anymore, and they're wanting to do line dance. They're wanting to do pretty much cardio to sweat it off before they leave and go home. And these people are coming in 4 deep. I mean, we're talking 3 people in a car with a designated driver coming through the door, and you have to assess and you have to deal with it. I remember a couple coming in whenever I was the doorman, and it was like 10 o'clock at night, and they came in and they were as sober as you and I sitting in this chair right here, right now. And by the time they got to the bar, I am, unfortunately right now, sweating too much.
As soon as the camera's off, though.
Right. We're headed straight to the bar.
It's 5 o'clock somewhere, right?
That's right, and it will be here in a few minutes.
We're going to have to wrap this up in about 30 minutes, guys.
So the person come in, and they obviously took a pill or something, because they went from sober as the preacher in church to falling over, couldn't find their car, had someone else's keys with them that they had took off the bar because the guy had left his keys sitting on the bar, like just everything that could go wrong. And this is at a bar on the north side of Houston. And I tell people all the time, look, you know, come in, have a good time. Our drinks are not expensive. Have a few drinks, enjoy yourself, pace it out with some water, get some dancing in. You know, meet people, have fun, eat.
We have food. This is a one-stop shop. You can get here at 7 p.m.
Yeah.
And it's great food, to be honest.
Oh, man.
Grab some great food. And we're trying out new.
Yeah.
We have also more than one sometimes. You know, we're trying new food.
Well, I didn't want to try the seafood off the truck the other day solely because of my diet and what I've been going through.
Yeah.
I had upped the Mounjaro shot, so I had upped it, and I didn't want to try anything that's going to make me sick. But man, I was like, God, all of that stuff looks good.
Oh, yeah.
I was like, man, every single bit of it. And
Well, being from Arkansas, I try not to have much seafood at all because we're landlocked. So it's catfish, and that's about it.
That's just
but
all
they had
y'all
catfish
get.
and hush puppies this last week. But who knows? That's the thing is if they get brought in, cool. But anyone they bring in
We've had the barbecue
is
guy.
so good. Yeah, exactly.
We've had so many
options. And so you can come here for 5 hours, pay $10 at the door, come in and enjoy your time.
And Grubhub if you want.
Yeah.
We don't care.
No,
do whatever it takes. Yeah, Grubhub comes in. And then we were looking for, by the way, Caden, wherever you are, I should have ate your Taco Bell the other night. I was like, golly.
You ordered it at like 12:30 and you already, I know who you are too, and you were trying to pick fights right at the end before you left.
I should have got your Taco Bell.
Yeah, I should have eaten your tacos right in front of you.
Exactly. So had that happen.
Letting people in the back door, though, we've kind of got to the point of being proactive. Yeah, we're becoming a one strike. The law sets boundaries, but I control. So if you go past my control, I have to call on the law. However, I feel like I control a lot. You know, growing up as a shepherd, growing up in sports, being my size, there's not much people can do that I don't feel like I can control. You know what I'm saying? Even if it's persuasion. There's not much that I can't control, so I allow, 2 strikes. I'm a nice guy. I'm a kind guy because I know maybe you'll learn that first time. The second time, you definitely are disrespecting you out. But now we've gotten to the point it's a one strike. If you, jump the fence or I see you coming in too much, going in and out too much, you're just,
we know you're doing something.
Yeah.
You know you're doing something.
I'm not going to play games.
We need you to understand this is about having a good time in a controlled environment. TABC is not playing right now.
They do not play.
They have gone from, I think during COVID, they probably were miserably bored or running around chasing.
Can't write tickets. Everyone's at home. Well, and they're probably waiting for you to go out on your carport.
They were waiting, and they were running around chasing wild goose chase. People were like, oh, I saw 3 people at this bar. I saw 3 cars at this bar. And then they go there, and it's like the bar's remodeling, and that's what they're now they have work to do. People are out. People are being stupid. We see it all the time. And you see it during the day when you're driving down the road. Somebody blitz drunk at 7 o'clock in the morning gets pulled over in a school zone because some mom went home at 3 in the morning, got up, took the kids to school because she overslept, and gets a DWI. So, I mean, we're seeing things that people do on the news that's just absolutely insane. So TABC is being proactive, and they're running in everywhere here. And we are on Fireworks Bar Alley.
Yeah.
We're on 1187. It is a fireworks stand, a bar.
This is a redneck's paradise, to be honest.
Yeah, that's it.
Just be smart so it doesn't go away, and that's the whole reason we do one strike. It's the fact of being proactive. You can come back tomorrow, or come back next Friday, but I will never value one person's fun over the entire bar.
No.
Never.
And I'm not going to sacrifice my job for you.
No.
That's
no. And that's the thing
not.
Is people take it way too personal.
Oh, God, yeah.
They take it way too personal when in reality, I'm like, again, I'm the one guy in here. Like, we made that joke. Oh, man, that was another thing, too. My first night, people constantly compared me to Roadhouse because I sit up in my little
That
my
one
little
girl
roost.
checking you out when you're up there, and she was like...
That was not a girl. That was a woman. That was
a woman, but
that was a girl.
She was
woman.
like, I don't think you can...
Yeah, I don't think you can handle... Okay.
First of all, I won't be alone, and I'm sober. You have at any given time, what people don't realize is, you have at any given time 4 people within earshot of you that are wearing a Hooch shirt.
And 4 people that are a lot less patient than I am.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
That's the thing, too, I don't think I'll realize is when I talk about self-control and controlling people, I'm also protecting the people from our people.
Right.
Because that's also, as a floorman, I was never the craziest guy. And that was why I always did well and why I always started running things, which is why I was making the Roadhouse joke, is because I'm a cooler.
Yeah.
But here, I'm the only cooler. So technically, I'm not a cooler. I'm everything. And
if you ever go to handle something in front of me, don't be surprised if I walk away because I'm going to start laughing. And I don't want to escalate anything.
No, you need to go sit back and lean against something and just be like,
hold it.
Just keep it cool. You know?
Come on,
just do the cool and roll up your neck so it becomes a turtleneck and you can just sit there.
Oh, I can be like Dalton. I could go outside.
Exactly.
We just cross our arms and go outside.
We need to start
handle it
serving
outside.
coffee. I need to start getting a coffee cup and just sitting back there. Black. Or
Black.
Diesel.
Diesel. Leaded.
How they always do. Oh my goodness.
Diesel. I want it strong, so strong you can't see straight.
Exactly.
We've had nothing but hilarity, but I want to point out also something that somebody said to me in both an email and somebody the other night who said this is the best environment they've seen this bar in forever. Because people remember it from 20 years ago.
Yeah.
And obviously you and I don't have that memory.
I don't. I'm sad though.
But you hear
still, all I got is this the past 3 months and I started teaching lessons. So I haven't even seen the old bar.
Right.
But I would still say this is in DFW.
Oh, yeah.
I would say this is a top 5 bar. Honky tonk. I'm not going to say
Honky-tonk.
bar. Honky tonk. We have a dance floor. We have great bar. We got food. We got darts. We have pool. Honestly, with darts and pool, this is more of a honky tonk than most places.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
And we have, we're introducing more of the local music. We have, every artist that comes on, me as the DJ, every artist that comes on and plays on this stage, I ask them, where are your songs at? Do you have any on this? Do you have any on? And so I pull up their songs and add it to a playlist I have. And like you told me, your goal is you have a playlist that you can play for your stuff one night where you could play the whole thing. Well, that's me. I'm going to have a playlist with all the local artists, everything that they have from 1 to 0, I want to go all the way across the board and play it. And we've gotten some really good artists in.
So good.
Billy Joe
Jones. She was
just,
great.
Oh my God, she rocked the house.
Yeah, she did so good.
Gets down there on the dance floor, dancing with somebody while singing.
On that note too, if you try to dance the artist around, stop spinning her.
Yeah, she's got a mic. She's not Madonna.
She's singing.
She doesn't have a boom mic
She's
on.
singing. And also she has a hat on. Hold her when you dip. Goodness, guys. 2 guys try to be heroes, and I know both of them, so I'm not gossiping. I spoke to them after.
Yeah, they're friends of ours.
Yeah, they're very close friends. And yet they got out there. I wanted to go dance there, but I'm security. So thank you for, one, everyone showing up, but then you prevent me from dancing. But I wanted to dance her around. But then as soon as I saw that first guy walk over here, I'm pretty sure he tripped. I was like, oh goodness. And then he just kept spinning her. And then our homeboy also just non-stop spinning. I was like, she's got to sing. And she's like, I'm out of shape. I'm like, no, you're not. You're just not supposed to spin that many times in a row.
You're spinning right now.
Like, come to lessons and I'll teach you how to dance a singer or any old lady or your old lady around.
Something, because that was fun. That was a lot of fun with bars. The bands have been playing really, really well. We've had a lot of good feedback. For the individuals who reach out and they want to hate a particular band, I always point out that was one band on one night out of 4 weeks in a month. Whenever someone reaches out to me, and I kind of have a vested interest in it. I felt bad because I'm like, well, first of all, you don't know what was going on up on stage. You don't know if we were having an audio issue. For every band that plays here, there's a gremlin in the system, and it's waiting to strike. We run into it all the time with lighting, with sound, with something, a breaker flips, something happens, and inevitably, someone shows up late for sound check. Someone showed up so early for sound check they were hooking up before our sound guy. Oh, sorry, folks.
See?
Technical difficulty. See, there's the gremlin.
There's the
gremlin. The mic came
It's
off.
like Murphy's Law.
Yeah, it's just going to happen.
I think we also might have coleslaw here, but Murphy's Law is definitely here.
Yeah, definitely. So we had someone call the other day and just was talking to Colin, and Colin is so nice to people. And he's on the phone, and the person just laid out their complaint and then hung up. And Colin turns to me and he's laughing. And he goes, "Well, that was a complaint." And I'm thinking, was it me? Was it me? Was it something I did? Was it, Because I've got a complaint. I finally got a DJ complaint, and I was like proud of myself, but it was
my name.
It was a lie. I was like, oh, come on. I do enough that's screwed up. You don't have to lie. But we'll go to commercial and we'll come back and talk about that in just a second. I need a drink now. All right, here we go. We'll be right back. Custom Sheds by Keith builds custom sheds, decks, backyard offices, and tiny houses built with quality and pride. Custom Sheds by Keith builds every building custom on-site using skilled carpenters. Call us today for a free quote and site visit. Custom Sheds by Keith, built like a house, not like a shed. Call 817-476-0007. That's 817-476-0007. Or visit us at shedsbykeith.com. All right, we're back. Mike Wilshire, with me John Carter, bouncer, DJ. All right, so complaint story. I got my complaint story. Okay, so my complaint story was, and this was a night where it was, it was the first break, and so the band plays a set from 9 to 10, and our crowds on most nights from 9 to 10 is an older crowd, older than me, and I'm 50. So we're talking older than me, a crowd that wants to hear music that they can dance to.
Yeah.
So I get a lot of the West Coast swing request. I get a lot of Western swing. I get a lot, which is two different dances according to you. You have taught me now.
It's not according to me, it's according to history.
According to history, I'm sorry. So, well, according to you, you taught it to me.
West Coast swing.
For me, different. It's according to you because you taught it to me. But, but okay. So, as I was explaining to an individual that walked up who made a request, he asked for a certain song. I said, not a problem. I didn't even bat an eyelash, and I hear clunk. He dropped something in the tip jar, and you're immediately, oh, thank you. And I look down, it's a $1 bill. I don't care. You don't have to tip me to get your song played. Just tell me what you want to hear.
Of course.
And I put it in there.
The more you tip, the higher you go.
Right. Well, yeah, we'll get to that in a second. But yeah, if you throw a 20 in there, your song is going to go up to the top. It's just the way it works. I'm sorry, people, but money talks, right? And so the individual walks off, and I play his song, and another person comes up, same thing, chunks of $1 in there, chunks of $1 in there. And that adds up by the end of the night, it's 15, 20. If everybody did it that requested a song, you could have $50 in there because people will request 50 different songs. And I wasn't really paying attention, but they were my regulars. So I noticed them. Well, this young lady walks up, and I had never seen her before. Doesn't mean she's not a regular. I just never made eye contact with this individual.
Or she never made a request.
Never made a request.
100%.
Request a song, and I said, oh. And it was like something that I was kind of glad somebody requested.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe I should have made that joke. I'm glad somebody requested something I want to hear. You know what I mean? Like just make a joke or something. But instead I went, oh, we're only playing $35 songs right now. I mean, or I said, we're only playing $1 songs right now. That's a $35. You're going to have to put $35 in the tip jar to get that song. And she goes, I'm a single mom. And I was like, well, I'm a dad. Like, I was like, I got your song. And so she walks off. I was smiling, laughing. I thought she was smiling, laughing. Oh my God. She goes and finds, that guy said he was going to charge me to play my song, which technically is true. I said $35. I would think that would be ironic that on the first set that I play, I'm already up to 35. You know, I probably could make that at 12:30 or 1:30 in the morning when somebody walks up and the lights come on and they go, I want this one more song.
Exactly.
I said the Aggie fight song one night and somebody paid me $20 through Venmo to play it. It was the last song I played of the evening.
Jeez.
That was awesome.
That's what you do is you charge $20 to do any school song, and then every other school song is $1 more.
Yeah. Or you bump
just...
their song. Okay, if you come up with a $25, I'll interrupt their song with another song.
Exactly.
But we all know it's in good fun. It's in jest.
Of course.
So you know me, of course, it's my first complaint. So whenever I hear it, I'm like, well, I know every single person that tipped me tonight. I'll go give them all their money back. And it dawns on me, wait a minute. It's not someone who gave me money. It was that one lady I made the joke to. I'm like, comedy is not dead, people. Comedy is not dead. All right, so.
It's difficult to make jokes sometimes with people, especially these days.
Here's where we get to bounce the questions off the bouncer. I got questions that were sent to me. And this is good stuff. I think it's going to be.
Because you've been nice.
You've done security at bars. You've bounced. You've done doorman. You've done events, everything. Okay. What's the most creative fake ID name you've ever seen? Like the McLovin or something? What's something? Have you ever seen a funny one?
Oh, I wish, to be honest. That's what a lot of them are smart. I think I just deal with too many smart kids. And they'll just do basic names, you know.
They're too intelligent to get caught on that.
Yeah, and I to be honest, I mean, the name is probably one of the last things I look at because that is a great way. Do you want to talk about offending someone?
Right.
If I'm like, oh, this is a fake ID because your name's not a Kiwana, and they're like, no, I'm from South Africa, and you're like, oh, this is awkward, right? So I look for everything
like
first.
Shardo Copley, Shardo Copley, the actor, white guy from South Africa. Yeah. When you first speak to him, he can do all these different accents. Yeah. You hear him speak with his Afrikaans accent, and you're like, oh my goodness, that guy he probably speaks 7 languages.
I wish I had someone make that type of mistake. I would love to have a McLovin mistake, but no, normally I find it by either the date or the material. I really have an eye for the material. That's how I first catch it, to be honest. But
if it's Texas ID, you're going to have a real hard time faking that. And we got ultraviolet lights that we can look at. We've got things that if something's not looking right, we go and scan it, and it's gonna kick back. You're not going to be able to beat that system.
Exactly.
And so that's gone away. But I do have a fake ID story on me.
Oh no.
Whenever I was 19 years old, 20 years old, I think I was home on leave from the service. And walking through a bar parking lot, we found, like I found an ID on the ground. And I'll be doggone if this guy didn't look just like me and he was 22. And I'm like, heck yeah. And I remember it to this day. His last name was Trumbull. I'm telling on myself. I'm going to tell this story because it's very important that you get that I had memorized that ID from head to toe in case I got questioned. I knew his ID number. I knew everything about that ID, the address, everything. Even the last, whatever, it's 4 digits after your zip code or after your, and I'm like, I got this. And I walk up, and as I hand this ID There was a police officer at that door. She was a sergeant with the Houston Police Department named Beverly Trumbull. It was her son. She goes, "We've been looking for this. That's my son's ID." And I go, "Yes, ma'am, I know. That's why I brought it to you to turn it in, because I knew it was Sergeant Trumbull's kid whenever I saw it." And she goes, "Thank you, I appreciate it. Well, where's your ID?" "Oh, hold on." And I got it out and I handed her my ID, and I got tagged as under 18 or under 21 and went in there, and my buddies were like, "You almost went to jail." And I was like, "Nah, man, you got to play that comedy. You got to just go with it."
Do it for the story.
Yeah, I was
Do it
like,
for the story.
holy crap, that was close, man. If I'd have went to any other bar, I could have rocked out drinking
Yeah.
the whole time I was home on leave.
When I first moved here from Arkansas, and I have a kind of worn out ID in my wallet, it gets worn out. Everyone, like, I would always get like double, triple looks. I've even had guards walk back. I was like, dog, like, do the light.
Yeah.
It's there. Like,
Well,
it's
and,
all right.
and now we have a computer in our hand, and we can look up a Missouri ID. We can look up
Exactly.
and if it doesn't look like the state of Missouri's ID, technically we don't have to let you in without a Texas ID. We do make exceptions because we do get people traveling from. We had a lady from Argentina the other night come up. It was so funny. She was asking for a song, and it was by Midland. And I forget what song it was by Midland, but when she asked for it, it was so broken. The English was so rough. I said, "Can you show me?" And she was, "Yeah." And she hit it on her phone and showed me this. I'm like, "Oh, okay, by Midland." And I was like, but just the way she was saying Midland and the way she was saying the title of the song, and I speak redneckese, man. I'm like, if it's got a y'all in it, I might understand. But if it's anything.
Yeah, and I think that's a good question to also, at the top of your list, you were asked, what's your favorite song you never play? Not broken English never play, but like.
My favorite song I never play. There are some songs that you can close dance with somebody. They're not even necessarily country songs, but I do like old school. I mean, Never Fails. You got to dance up close to a girl in a slow two-step with Some Fools Never Learn by Steve Wariner. I've played it a couple of times
Steve Wariner
here.
has a lot of buckle brushers.
Oh yeah, when people request it. The other day I had someone request it, but then he goes, "Never mind," and he goes, "We're leaving. She doesn't want to hear it." And it was the Bryan Adams, "Everything I Do It For You," the Robin Hood song, and I was like, "I'll play it, dude." I mean, he was getting ready to throw money in the tip jar. I was like, "I'll play it. I don't mind." I said, "But I don't know what it'll do on the dance floor."
Yeah.
And but I mean, I'll play anything that somebody wants to hear. But yeah, I think any of those old up close and personal, any of the Gary Allens, a lot of Gary Allen love songs are really near and dear to me. The one by Gary Allen, but no one requests it hardly anymore. So, when I play something like that, you see the dance floor load up, but it's so far removed from people, and then someone hears it and goes, "Oh, that's my jam," and then they run out there.
And we'll actually do a snake draft. I'll go twice, and then you go twice, and I go
All
twice,
right.
because that actually also is one of. They asked you if you would rather play a song like that makes the crowd go crazy, or would you rather play a song that gets that niche crowd to love you? You know what I'm saying? That backwoods artist that no one knows, but that like when a table just stands up and yells and it's like yes, or would you rather get the whole crowd going crazy on a popular song?
I do that a lot because Bullet Creek, Scott Legal's mom and aunt are in the crowd.
Yeah.
Also, there's a lot of Zach Top fans. You included. A lot of Zach Top fans that I know, and so I get to that niche. I do get to that niche that loves certain things. However, it is good to look up from there after you've played. Someone requests a song, and you see that dance floor is empty, and you're like, "God dang, this is 4 minutes long. I got to find a lull to break in on it and pull another song in." And so I'm waiting for that lull, and then I throw another song in, and you look up, and it is something. Everyone's on the floor. Exactly. So I mean, it's a good win either way. I understand the question, and I would agree that probably it's more so to see the dance floor loaded than it is to get to that little crowd, because the dance floor loaded will bring their friends back, whereas the little crowd might bring one or two people.
Well, yeah, I feel as though it might be the difference between a job and a passion. Your job is to get people on the floor, same thing as a band.
Yeah.
But just like a band, there is that point where, like Zach Top, I made him laugh because when he was 14, had a band with his brothers, a bluegrass band called Top Strings. And there was a break in one of his sets back home, and he was still playing. He still plays small bars sometimes, but this was a year and a half ago. And so he was playing like a really small bar. And he was saying, well, we're about to play one of my favorite artists. And I yelled, Top Strings. And he was like, he kind of looked out and he was like, I have not heard that name in a long time. He was
You
like,
knew me when I was 13?
But
we grew up together.
Yeah, and I was just like, dude, it was good. I mean, I've heard it. It's great. But just to make that joke, like there is that point where, again, your job is to get people out there, but your passion is to find those little niches so that then those people feel special.
Yes.
Because those are going to be your regulars.
Right.
We can play Pitbull, we can play T-Pain, we can pretty much play any line dance and get a lot of people out there.
And we get a lot of requests for them.
Yes.
However, we're a honky tonk, and you got to kind of respect that. I'm not going to be able to play 15 line dances in one night.
Of course.
I've got to play a little bit of everything.
Why are we not like getting out there?
Right.
With you know, when we play George Strait, when we play any good two-step, when we play Keith Whitley, why are people not going crazy? Now I will say we do have a good group. Y'all are a great group. We have a good, solid group of dancers that get out there. But even if you don't know how to dance, like you should love that song so much. Get out on the floor and enjoy it together.
Sure.
You know.
Absolutely. All right. So here's one for you.
Yeah.
Which I'm gonna. Have you ever had to bounce someone who tried to bribe you with snacks or money or anything, drinks or anything, to not bounce them out the bar? Well, not here.
No, not here. No. But in a past job, it's easy to say no when you're walking someone out because again, it's like a child.
Right.
You're like, hey, you're going to timeout, and they're trying to, I'll do laundry for a week.
No,
You're
I'll
like,
be good
I
now.
don't care.
I'll be good now.
It's like, dude, I don't care. The hardest, to be honest, is when they do, like, let's say they'll bring you something and you get a snack, and then later on they screw up, and you got to be like, I can't play favorites.
Right.
And then like it feels as though you manipulated them, but that's why I make sure
I
I'm
gave
like,
you the chips off my barbecue sandwich, man.
Yeah, exactly. And it's
chips.
like, okay, you also threw a chair through the window,
right,
man.
Right,
like,
yeah, you're in trouble.
Sorry.
You don't get to.
Yeah,
there's evidence of what you did. You're not.
Like you made that decision.
Oh my God! All right, so one more for you about the IDs. What's the funniest excuse someone has given you for not having their ID?
Not having.
Okay. If you don't have your ID in a bar in Texas, you are committing an offense, just so you know. But go ahead and tell if you have one of those, because you're not supposed to be in a bar without an ID.
No. I mean, I don't think it's that, to me, that funny, but like people always will come up with the most complex one. Like the most complex, like, it's like a 6-part story of how they didn't end up with it. And then you figure out that was like 4 months ago and you're like, did you drive here?
Yeah.
How are you, why do you, what? There's bigger problems than getting into this bar, you know? But the funniest, to be honest, is I think it's funnier with excuses for fake IDs.
Oh, yeah.
Because you rolled with the punches and didn't try. Yeah. But there's so many people that almost do the thing kind of like, no, I won't do an analogy of another legal activity. But it's the fact that like they'll be like, oh, it is? What? How? And I was like, what do you mean you don't know? You think the DMV handed you a fake ID? So the only thing you're admitting is that your guy or gal, it's 2024, anyone can do illegal activities. Whoever gave you this ID, now you're surprised that they gave you a fake one?
Right. It wasn't a DMV. You went to a flea market and you're like, holy crap, it's illegal.
It doesn't matter how you react. The fact that you go, really? I would rather you just be like, oh, okay, and walk. Because if you don't, the next step is you're going to law right there.
And I would almost love to hear somebody do this to us so that we have a funny story to tell about you later on the podcast. But we haven't been here long enough to have seen these things.
Well, I also think this community is not foolish enough to try to like come up with something that crazy. We have a responsible group of people here.
Yeah.
Very responsible.
Yeah, we have a response. I would agree with that. All right.
Jeez. No. Speaking on funny things, what is the funniest thing anyone said to you, whether it pertains to like songs or maybe snitching on someone on the floor or complaining about a song you played?
The other day, whenever I ran up to you after it happened, when the young lady came up and said, will you play something we can dance to? Which by that time I had played 5 different types of the dance song. And after what turned into like an interrogation of me going, what are you looking for? And she said, well, I'm looking for a line dance. And I go, this is Boot Scootin' Boogie. This is the electric slide. I was like, I went back to you and I go, John, I was like, John, don't you play the electric, don't you teach the electric slide to Boot Scootin'? You go, yeah. And I was like, that was probably the funniest thing ever. And I was like, look, you could dance to this song, watch, you know, and she didn't think it was funny, but at the same time, I mean, why would you walk up and smack me? You're like, walking out, play something I can dance to, dummy. And, you know, and then you're like, but what do you need? I mean, like, tell me what you want. And then, of course, it turns into that again was the first break, and we have the older crowd, and me playing Shabuzi or, you know, K-Wang and all that stuff, that doesn't really get well received on, and you got to think you're 80-20, you know, 20% of your business is 80% of your money. Well, you know, out of the 20% that was my 80% money for the bar at that time, everyone was, median age was 55 to 65 years old right at that moment. So I was like, no, I'm not playing Shabuzi right now. I will play it in the next break. And also don't come up, just on a side note, don't come up after I've been playing for 25 minutes and tell me you want a song, because the playlist is already set. The band's coming on in 5 minutes. And when you bump the band for a song, you better have an excuse. You better be like, you know, so-and-so's mom died of cancer and they want to dance to this song before they leave because they have to get home by 10:30, you know, to get grandpa in bed, you know, kind of thing. So you have to have an excuse. So it's kind of one of those things. All right. Now this is you. This is so you, because you're both the dance instructor and the bouncer. What's the wildest dance move you witnessed while on duty?
Oh, jeez. I had a gal off the floor throw it back so hard, like hands and feet, like on her hands and feet, throw it back so hard. I didn't feel like it was right for me to watch. Like between me and God, like
right, it was.
She was throwing, like she had a sundress, and even from my perspective, I had a clear view, and I just did not feel right with it. She was going crazy.
Well,
crazy.
We have young ladies come in here with what I can only say would be a bikini for 1960s. You know what I mean? Like, you know, like there's things that it's just very little, and so you'll see a dance every now and then that you're thinking to yourself, there's going to be a wardrobe malfunction here in a second.
Please hold up.
Don't have a wardrobe malfunction, because you know, we don't want to, you know, no one wants to deal with that. Don't want to see it. Don't want to be a part. You know, don't want to have to walk out and tell someone, by the way, you know, something's escaped.
Like, geez, and that's the worst part too, is that most of the time they can't tell.
Yeah.
They won't be able to tell. And I will say that about some guys too. Some of y'all guys, not here always, but wearing their pants so low. I thought we talked about that in 2014, but
okay.
There's some guys.
I'm going to answer this question for you, but you don't get to answer this question, and you'll know why. This is what's known as operational security. Do you have a secret signal with the bartenders for dealing with unruly patients? Yes, we do. That's all you need to know. And everyone has one. And no, we're not going to tell you what that is. He has one, and he will handle it probably himself, but everyone's going to know that's going to be handling. We're not going to have that. Like, why would you ask that question, man?
I'm not going to give that away.
I'm not going to give that away.
But know that we are always all watching each other.
Sure.
That's the thing. I feel like a dog sometimes, because I'll literally just be scanning, and then as soon as I see like Kathleen start looking towards me, or Ashley, or any of the bartenders look in my direction. They'll sometimes be looking at the door or darts, or they're just staring off into the distance. But as soon as I'm like, I'm waiting for them, because as soon as they look at me and they look somewhere, I know I need to go, but I'm waiting. I'm like, and we're good.
Yeah. And I don't have no problem whatsoever with, if I have to go over that intercom, I got to go over that microphone and say, hey, I need somebody up here to the stage real quick.
Exactly.
And usually about 9 people would be up here, and I think we only got 4 on duty. All right, you get to go.
Yeah. Oh, jeez. This is not the same thing. Do you have an emergency playlist for when a bar breaks out?
Yes, I'm going to play the Barney song. I love you. You love. No. If something broke out big enough, I would drop the music down and just go. I need everyone on the dance floor. I need security. I need help. I'd call the names. I need Ashley.
Yeah.
I need Jeremy. I need you. I need John. I need all y'all out here real quick. And I'm gonna tell y'all this right now. If I have to come out of the DJ booth to deal with anything, like if I have to get involved, it is like everyone needs to help in the bar by then, because y'all are pretty Johnny on the spot. Like y'all catch the people with drinks on the bar, on the floor before I do. I only catch the ones that are close to the stage, because my booth is right there. So y'all see them more because people tend to clump over there, and they tend to clump over there by the two bars. So that's where the most activity is. So I catch the one that's way over here, but y'all usually catch them before I do.
And that's always the goal, is to be proactive. But that's also, again, a good concept we try to have here, is the fact of the bar is also looking out for the safety of everyone. It's kind of like lifeguarding. If you're being dumb in the water, that's not on me. You're being dumb, I'm gonna kick you out, right? But your job is to have fun and make sure everyone else is safe. Because if I don't catch it, your job then is to come and tell me something's going on. Because again, I have the authority. That doesn't mean I should be the only one doing good.
Right.
You know? And so the goal is to have everyone in here kind of be somewhat of a bouncer. I'm just the one with the final call to say, this is going to be the best decision, because I'm getting paid for those decisions.
And the drink on the floor, I want to point out, if you spill a drink, we have plastic cups, and we would have to clean that up, and it would take a little bit to do it, and we don't appreciate you doing that. However, if you break a beer bottle on the floor, you drop a beer bottle on this floor and break it, we now have glass that it's going to take a little bit longer to clean up. It's going to take a little bit more time.
And there can be fractures that end up that we actually have to sometimes literally take, pull up the floor and get that out. Because it's
stuck in between. And so we don't want that.
No. So wear your shoes and don't get drinks on the floor. That's it. And if you don't want to wear your shoes, remember tomorrow to bring your dancing shoes and come back then.
The young ladies that pull their shoes off to dance, I'm like, oh God, you're taking your life.
Yeah, we were talking about that. Hey, if you're listening to this or watch this, who wore those heels that one weekend, and then the next day you came back and wore those pink tennis shoes or Crocs or whatever they were, we're thankful for you. We're very thankful, because every time you took off your shoes, we were
losing our mind.
Yeah.
We can handle the pink Crocs.
Yeah, luckily we got you off the floor every time, but man, you made us nervous. So thank you for switching your shoes the next day. On the topic though of music, for that fight breakout, what about if someone requests anything but country? So first off, why are they making a request? Well, if they say anything but country in a country bar,
anything but country in a country bar,
or do you play anything at all?
Well, I usually turn to them and say, you do know where you are, right? This is a honky tonk.
Are you lost?
Yeah, we are in South Tarrant County. We are right on the border of Johnson County. I mean, it's as country as it gets up here in the DFW area where we're at.
Yeah, we're funneling Fort Worth.
Right, and I was like, I usually diffuse it with, and not that they're upset or anything, I usually say, what do you want to hear? Inevitably, if it's an older person I want to hear some classic rock. I want to hear something I can dance to.
We can play rock and honky tonks.
Yeah, I can play classic. I can play AC/DC. I can play, I've gotten a lot of requests for the young ladies who Takes Them Back to High School, Pour Some Sugar on Me by Def Leppard. And they get out there and they dance and they have a good time. And if it's again, like I said, the line dances, it depends. If it's the first break, I can maybe get, like I said, Boot Scootin' Boogie, Copperhead Road in. That's a song from the 80s, so I can get that stuff in.
Maybe the Schottish.
Yeah, the Schottish. Any kind of, the problem with the Schottish, though, in the bullshit song is to, if someone interrupts you, because I played that the other night, everybody was so happy to hear it. I got interrupted before that last part of it comes on with the whatever that is where they do the skipping around. I usually try to cut it down right there at that part and go into another song.
But no, that's the full song.
That's the full song. Yeah, I know it's classic, but it was like it was. There were so many requests, and I was trying to get them all in. And that was the part of the night where people had started throwing money in the tip jar. And that's whenever I feel bad if I don't get your song. If I bump you because you came up and requested 7 songs at the beginning of the night, and you keep coming back, and you haven't thrown anything in the tip jar, I don't feel so bad about bumping your songs whenever some lady comes up and says, hey, I really want to hear, the other day, a lady wanted to hear Darlene, T. Graham Brown. She wanted to hear Darlene. I'm like, you're going to pay $20 to hear that song? I'll play that song right now, ma'am. No, here. You took care of us all night. And I'm like, well, your song goes to the top. T. Graham Brown goes up there. And this person, and then the other thing is if you are not a good tipper and every song you requested, you've sat there at the table and danced in your chair singing it, and my dance floor is empty, my boss don't see you. And I'm the guy that left the dance floor empty.
Of course.
And so
people don't recognize that too, and that's why we also have lost an appreciation for live music, which is why people complain about the live music. It's because people don't realize that is your sign.
Yeah.
You know, what's the sign of a good restaurant? If the parking lot's full. What's the sign of a good DJ or a good dancer or a good band? People are out on the floor. And why are we so scared of dancing?
Right. These people who are playing here play songs you can dance to.
So many.
Every song.
They got
I
waltzes, two-steps, polkas
two-steps.
even. That's what's great about Texas. We play polkas here.
Yeah.
You don't get that when you go north. You don't get that when you go east. People
you
don't
hear
play
Southern
polkas.
rock. Why are you not out there? We danced to Southern rock when we was kids.
Yeah.
You know, dance in your bedroom to that by yourself. Just dancing around to stuff, you know?
And to be honest, we love floor etiquette, and that's what you learn in our lessons. You know how the floor is a lane, but also realize what we love about a square floor is you have corners. So even if you want to get out here, down here for the band and get in the corner and rock out with them, you know, show them some love, give them energy right there. I'm fine with that, even as the dance instructor. Get on the floor, just stay in the corners. Stay in the corners or right dead
enjoy
center.
yourself. That one lady, dead center, just had her own party the other night.
I love it, yeah.
Just was so much fun.
And she stayed out of people's way.
Yeah, she was dancing on her way out whenever her and her man were leaving. She was dancing on her way out the door still. I was like, that's a party, man, right there. You don't need nobody else to have a party.
We only have one life to live.
Right?
And eventually you're not going to be able to dance too well.
Yeah.
Also, dancing helps you psychologically, emotionally. It helps physical, you know, just naturally moving. So why not take advantage of it?
It's healthy for you.
And like you say,
right?
burn off that alcohol. Let's go.
Exactly. All right, here's what. If you could bounce any famous person, who would it be and why? We're going to find a famous, first of all, if you're famous and you're here in Hoots, awesome. I hope you don't bounce you because we need it.
Realistically?
Yeah.
Like in Hoots, realistically, I'd love like Matthew McConaughey in here.
All right.
Yeah, I'd be like, hey brother, you gotta go. all right. I'm out of here, but I want you to know, brother, you were doing a good job. No. But,
exactly.
But jokingly, probably Mike Tyson. Just so I could take him when he's not in his prime. You know?
Right.
Catch him off guard. I'll be like, hey, sir, we have to ask you to leave, and there's off guard, just hit him.
Yeah.
And then just if he doesn't go down, just run.
Right.
Just run, and then quit my job, move out of town, get that fake ID, probably leave the country, and be done with it. However, if I catch him off guard and knock him out, then it's over.
It's bragging. You're going to dance around for a little bit. Yeah, I knocked him out. I love it. And then you get to do, there was some guy named Mitch Green that he punched Mitch Green in the face, and Mitch Green had his face was all swollen, and he goes, he hit me like a sissy. Do that.
It didn't even hurt, man.
And his face looked horrible. Mike Tyson got a broken pinky out of it, but his face looked horrible. I mean, it was so bad. All right. Custom Sheds by Keith builds custom sheds, decks, backyard offices, and tiny houses built with quality and pride. Custom Sheds by Keith builds every building custom on-site using skilled carpenters. Call us today for a free quote and site visit. Custom Sheds by Keith, built like a house, not like a shed. Call 817-476-0007. That's 817-476-0007. Or visit us at shedsbykeith.com. Now I'm going to answer this one Also, but what's the strangest thing you found left behind after closing time? Well, we don't actually do the cleaning portion.
No, we don't do a lot of that. We still help, but
We help, but we don't. We're busy with getting people out the door, and I have to tidy up the stage and the DJ booth, but you have to make sure no one goes out with a drink in their hand, and you've got to get everybody out. So we don't do it. But I know that Stephen and Kathleen found false teeth here one time.
I was gonna say, yeah.
They have a blower that they'll use in here, a Milwaukee electric blower that they blow out the stuff from underneath the tables if there is anything, because we can't, these tables are super heavy, we can't move them every night. And so we get the deep clean every now and then, but to blow it out, they blew out some false teeth, which is,
jeez.
that's a good night, man.
Yeah.
If you partied so hard and Nana lost her teeth,
jeez.
you know, or Pawpaw didn't come home with the uppers, that's awesome. Now I don't, you know, maybe you've ran into this at events that you worked at. Have you ever caught someone trying to sneak in by pretending to be part of the staff? Like a roadie or pretending to be?
Oh, I mean, what's most common is folks saying they're with the band.
Mm-hmm.
They're like, oh yeah, I'm with the band or something. I can pretty quickly tell. Also, a lot of times people who are actually with the band will still be willing to support the band. So even if I do push, they'll
Right.
be like, oh, I'll pay.
Right.
You know. And if that case happens, I usually, like, if I talk to the band after or something and it is there, or I see the interaction, I'm like, oh, they are, I just get them a refund.
Yeah. We have a list for our bands that they get a certain amount of people get to come in for free because they do. But I want to point out that even for our people on dance night, on dance lessons night, you know, I know you come in and that it's a lot of cardio and you don't really want to drink and you don't want to get, because, you know, y'all do the line dance for the first hour. And I would have a heart attack if I was trying to join y'all.
Yeah.
I would have to take the slow, the bunny slopes, you know, of the skiing. I would have to do the small one. The bar makes money off of the door so that they can support the band, basically with the people who don't drink. People who come in and don't get me wrong, if you have a substance abuse problem or something, you don't drink anymore, I totally respect it. A lot of stand-up comedians that I work with do not drink anymore. They drink Topo Chico. That way they're getting something that they pay for, and they're supporting the bar as well. So, you know, there are places that do a 2-drink minimum.
Also, Topo Chico is fantastic.
It is. It's delicious. I drank like 3 of them one night, and I'm like, I don't feel anything. My buddy's like, there's no alcohol in it, dummy. I'm like, God, dude, I was sitting here thinking, y'all were downing them. I was thinking, you know, I got to catch up. But apparently they were all sober and just dumb. I was trying to catch up, and it was water. I had to pee so bad. I couldn't
Yeah,
see
don't
straight.
admit that to anyone else.
Yeah, it's so bad.
Oh
It was it's so bad. But, you know, that's not the worst thing I've ever heard of somebody do it. But I've heard some real funny things that people have done at these bars whenever they go in. So the bar is about making money, and we've got to pay the band. And in order to get a good band, you have to get good money at the door. And if we can flood this place with people every night at $10 a night, we're going to get these bands that we're getting and phenomenal bands with them, and it's just going to grow. And so the door cover is there. If I invite anybody out, I either pay their door cover or they pay to get themselves in.
Again, yeah.
And yeah, because it's part of the people who run this business are not running a charity. They are running a business to make money.
Well, it benefits everyone because even like you were saying, like anyone who comes to my classes doesn't have to like not drink. A lot of times dancers get a bad rep because you were saying like they can't balance themselves or anything. We don't do moves like that. We dance like cowboys, and cowboys can handle their liquor.
Sure.
You know, that's first and foremost, to be honest.
Right.
But dancers that come from my class don't have any issue with that.
Right.
It doesn't change. However, if we do get dancers or people who just don't want to drink, that's fine. You paying $10 allows, one, my job to be easier because then I'm more so taking care of you. But if we just open that door, the type of figures that come in,
Right.
you're setting pretty much your standard, which is why you go to Dallas, you're going to find bars that covers $30.
Yes.
Because there's
And they're frisking people that go in.
There's high-class lawyers that don't want to have to deal with
Yes.
any problems that they don't want to deal with.
Right.
Now, not just that, but from a business standpoint as well, like you're saying, if you do drink, that $10 is actually helping make every drink cheaper.
Yes.
Because if not at the door, they have to make it at the bar, which means you might pay $10 there, But if you don't, you're going to be paying 60, for me at least, 60, 80, $100 a night just to try to get a good drink in, you know?
And whenever I don't drive myself, I'm 3 drinks in 3 hours. That's it. That's the military standard. You drink 3 drinks in 3 hours. You need to space those out with a drink in between that is non-alcoholic. So I try to keep myself at 3 drinks within 3 hours with drinks in between. And if I've ate something, even better. But I still don't surpass 3. If I'm not driving myself and I Ubered, I'll have 5, 6. I don't care, because I'm not going to be drunk in the bar.
No.
I'm not going to be a threat to meet the standard of the law for public intoxication. You have to be a threat to yourself or others. If you are here waiting for an Uber and you've done nothing wrong and you're not standing out in the freezing cold or burning up in the heat, you've done nothing wrong and you're waiting, the police show up, they're trying to get you in an Uber. We've seen situations where we've refused somebody service to not even let them in. And then we had to call the police because this person was a threat to themselves and others. And the police show up and the person was almost in the Uber. Almost there. And then you're like, dude, you talked yourself into the drunk tank. And that's always the funny thing to me, is that now in this day and age, when the police are turning their cameras on right away when they walk in, they want their cameras rolling. They want to make sure that they're taking care of the person the best they can.
Yeah.
And they're trying to get that person to take an Uber. And that person ends up talking themselves into, and that's not here that I've seen that. That's like 15 other places in the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex.
And that's what I love too, is I'm really appreciative of our bosses, because that $10 at the door also, and the way that y'all do take care of everyone here, allows us then to take care of you. It gives me as a bouncer opportunities to look after people without having to, you know, be like, hey, you're on your own, or nope, you got to suffer through. I have opportunities, and every night I set out water bottles. You know, if I see you're kind of struggling, I can just hand you water bottles. I don't have to be like, oh, well, you need $1, man, go to the bar and buy one. No, because you got in here, it's more of a truly like a country club.
Yeah.
You know, just like Travis Tritt said, you know, we are members of a country club here, and our goal is to take care of you. And that $10 at the door is going to get you a lot more than you know.
And I've made more money in tips at the DJ booth off of repeat business of people who come up, and I'm so happy to see them because they request good songs. Some of these songs I don't know. I didn't know Zach Top until, you know, I came here. I didn't know a lot of different musicians. The Dustin Saunier, I didn't know of him, and these guys are on my playlist now in my car when I'm driving down the road. So as people request, I learn the song, catch myself singing at home, download the song, it's on my playlist. And the repeat business is what we want. We want you to have a good time, and we want you to go back and tell your friends, hey, come up there with me and have a good time.
And you're going to be safe. Your good time's not going to leave.
Yep.
And that's my job. That's your job, is to make sure people's nights aren't ruined.
Right. And
we're consistent.
A young lady reached out to me recently in an email, and I answered her in person on the phone, and I'm going to answer it now here on the radio. I stake my claim that if you communicate with us while you are here, you are going to be in the safest environment you could possibly be. If we identify something that we feel is dangerous or makes you feel uncomfortable, creepy, anything along those lines, anyone with a Hoot shirt, you can walk up and have a conversation with, and everyone will keep an eye out and watch for that to take, because I've ran into a lot of young ladies who we're starting to see 21st birthdays here now. We are now starting to see more of it, where I've had ladies say, look, I just don't feel comfortable going to certain places. And I'm like, well, you obviously haven't been to Hoots in years then, because the ownership and the management here puts up with nothing from anyone, not even staff or employees. If we were to do something bad, we would be fired and removed from the situation. So we're very respectful and watch our P's and Q's, you know what I mean, and make sure that we handle ourselves. So I think it's one of the best places to go. And I'm a people watcher, so I'm a bar fly. So I've been to every bar around here,
Yeah.
just so I can look at the crowd and just get to know people and reach out. And I do podcasts, so I don't know a stranger. You know
Yeah,
what
I
mean?
think
So-
if you're a dancer, this is one of the better floors in the majority of DFW.
Mm-hmm.
Again, I think I could argue it's top 10, if not, I would put it in my top 5, top 6 of dance environments. We have pool and darts, so that's already heavily top. Food too, have food at a bar.
I will say I've been to bars where I've seen people I saw someone break a leg at a bar in Fort Worth one night because of the way the dance floor was built and the hazards around it, and the individuals that cluttered onto the dance floor because the bar really wasn't big enough for the dance floor, and the rest of the bar wasn't big enough to house the people. They should have decreased the number that was allowed in there maybe a little bit.
They're going to make their money.
They wanted to make their money.
That's what we have enough space.
Yeah.
We can pack this thing in
Yeah.
as long as there's space for, and that's what everyone's respectful. I haven't seen the dance floor get crowded. With that, we fill the seats, and we fill outside, and we fill the pool area, and we wait.
And
you know,
when you were younger, starting off at 21, were you still in Arkansas?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So what was this obviously pre-COVID, many years before, what was the clientele? Was it rougher? Was it nicer? Was it friendlier? What would you say?
well, honestly, I believe there's nothing new under the sun. You know,
Right.
I think we have again rowdy boys coming in here looking for trouble, and they're gonna
Sure.
find it.
Yeah.
Not on my watch, not here, but in most honky tonks and where I grew up, yeah, we had guys who would come in there looking for a fight. Most of the time, they would plan it already. They would already be talking online or
Yeah.
over the phone. When they showed up, they would be, scouring, go out and fight. That's been here since the 50s.
Yeah.
Even since 1880. You show up and you give someone a wrong eye out in a saloon, they're gonna kick you out in the street and they're gonna duel.
Yeah.
We've always had that. We have relationships that people argue. I mean, pretty much, I think it's the exact same it's always been, to be honest. What I do think there's less of, and I do think it'll heal itself naturally because we're humans, is rowdy people. And
Right.
what I mean by rowdy, I'm rowdy.
Right.
How can I be rowdy and be safe? Rowdy is safe because rowdy people look for fun, and that can make you get rowdy.
Right.
You might get a little loud, you might get a little bump here and there, but if I'm with other rowdy people, we're no problem for anyone.
Yeah.
Well, the problem is when rowdy people don't control themselves, they're no longer rowdy.
Well, usually we're comedians on the outside because it's masking what's going on the inside. I'm an adrenaline junkie
Yeah.
like you wouldn't believe. That's why I get up on the stage and do comedy. That's why I'm a DJ. That's why I learn from failures. I learn from a stammer whenever I'm speaking. I learn not to spit on the audience whenever I emote what I'm saying.
Yeah.
These are all things that I can't fight anymore. I'm 50 years old. I got heart problems. I got back problems. I got neck problems. And I maybe got one good fight left in me, maybe two. And so I need to save myself up if I ever have to do it and get out of something.
That's the word of the wise. Don't fight old people. They'll just kill you.
Yeah,
they don't have time.
we're trying to get out of it. We're like not trying to have it happen. A real good friend of mine, JD, was telling me one day, he was like, I had to go back to my wife and said, I won that fight, right? She goes, well, I don't know. You were still standing after it was over and he was unconscious. He goes, why do I hurt so much? It's been a week. Why do I hurt so much? Because you're older now.
Well,
and
also,
you're
no
not-
one wins a fight.
No, you
No
still
one wins a
lose.
fight. And that's the thing is people, and that's why I don't think anyone who would want to watches this, but there's no point in trying to headhunt anyone.
No.
I'm not saying I'm not a challenge, but I'm not a challenge. I'm not challenging you, so therefore
all
there
you're
is no
gonna do-
challenge. And so neither of us will win any interaction that you would ever come towards me as a bouncer, or any bouncer, to be honest.
Yeah.
Because
All you're gonna do is get
one,
kicked out.
well, and also the law then.
Yeah, then the
law's
law
there.
shows up. Yeah.
I mean, I have had people
Yeah.
cheap shot. I have been cheap shotted and headbutted, and I can tell you within
Not
4
here.
hours.
We
Not
haven't had that
not
happen here yet.
no.
Thank God.
But,
Never going to
At
happen.
another bar, I was cheap shotted and headbutted. He didn't do anything.
Right.
Barely did anything to me. But within 3 hours, you got a warrant out for his arrest. So
My
It's-
little brother was bouncing at a bar one night, and the guy, he was trying to walk him to the door. He didn't remove the bottle from his hand before he did,
smashed him.
and the guy smashed him in the
Yeah.
face, knocked a tooth out. And
It's-
I mean, it's just one of those things where you don't know when somebody's going to flip their switch and do something stupid.
Yeah.
And they say this in apartments, crime has no address. Crime doesn't know an address. There are probably 4 million horror stories of every bar that's in this area where they had somebody do something stupid one night. And that was one of those knuckleheads that you said was planning it, woke up, was going to do it. He was all about it to begin with. And that was all premeditated from the day you got up till, he went and did whatever it was he did. We do know that relationships, we've been in relationships, we do know that you get heated, get into an argument. I know that jealousy does happen. I know that sometimes someone walks up and asks your lady to dance, not aware, didn't see the ring, she's not wearing a ring, whatever the thing is, didn't realize he made a mistake. Guys, brush it off, let it move on. If the guy keeps pursuing, come to a bouncer. Don't consider it an ego thing. No. Consider it a please, I will buy you a drink thing. Go see the DJ.
Hey, thanks for
afterwards
dancing with my wife. Here's a beer. We're gonna not do this again type stuff.
Yeah.
We're just telling this thing to communicate. That's what I was telling you about. Everyone's a bouncer. We're humans.
Right.
This is a cultural hub. Just talk to one another in a respectful manner, so I don't have to step in. Because if I have to step in, I am no longer your friend.
Right.
I am kind to you until I have to pull authority. It's the same thing we see a lot of the times with cops.
Oh yeah.
The issue is not cops, it's bad cops. The issue is not bouncers, it's bad bouncers.
Right.
When a bouncer comes up with a superior, like a complex, a God complex, or he's looking for something, he's not going to take care of you.
No.
And I think that's the big thing to reiterate about Hoots. And really, if you want to end on that, is a fact of we want to take care of you.
Yep. It's all about respect and fun.
Things have changed, even in the past 6 months. And if you are a regular here, you're a reason for that things have changed and things are good. And if you haven't visited us, if you're just crossing this, check us out, because we have space for you, we have resources for you, and we have people that want to meet you.
Yep.
We have great music, we have great drinks, we have great food, and you're going to come in, have a good time, and leave without a scratch. No problem.
And our bartenders naturally have that look on their face. They're actually very, very friendly.
They are.
Whenever they're looking at you and they look serious, it's probably because they can't hear you because there's so much noise going on.
They just take you so seriously. They
Right?
really want to know what drink you want.
They really do.
What do you want to drink? Oh, I'm very much for that. Yes.
They all smile. I've seen every single person in here smile, but if they're not smiling, because I know that somebody told me the other day at the DJ booth, I looked so angry, and I was like, I just can't hear you. That's my I can't hear you face. I can smile and do that.
Yeah, you said it right, though, I think at the beginning of, if you learn their names, they smile a lot more.
Yeah.
Just learn their names. Everyone here smiles. Everyone here takes care
This
of
place, you come in a stranger, you leave as family.
Yeah.
This place is everyone takes care of everyone. Everyone that's in this bar right now that I can see, I know every single person in this bar right now, because we're actually working right now as this is going. So you get to know everyone, and it becomes a second home to you, and it's a lot of fun.
That's how honky tonk should be. It's a third place, like we talked about on our episode.
Yep.
It's
a third. It's a honky tonk.
We have a home, we have work, and you should have a place that you can go where everyone knows your name.
Yep.
Right?
The ruts to your home are cut out by how many times you come here and there, from home to here and back home. Right.
We have plenty of parking too. Plenty of parking, plenty of space.
Yeah.
Come take it, honestly.
Tons of space for anyone to get in here. We will never
not too much. Don't hear us saying there's too much space. I'm saying you get here early enough.
Right.
There's plenty of space, and we can make more space for you.
I don't think we've ever had to turn anyone away yet. I think we have.
Well, we have plenty of grass back here too.
Yeah.
It's not always how would you say? It's not always though we have parking spots that are normal and lined out. Yeah. But again, this is a country club. Yeah. We have plenty of grass that we can start setting people.
If it's a flood, don't come, because you'll have to mud it.
but make us have an excuse for pulling out one of our bar backs or getting another security guard to start parking people.
Yep.
Give us that excuse. We'd be happy to take care of you.
Yep. Absolutely. You guys, make sure you hit the like button on the podcast and stick around for the next episode. Tune back in if you would. Stick around. Tune back in for the next episode. It's John Carter, Mike Wilshire. We'll see y'all down the road.